Alright, I'm doing this now. Alright, so what's going on, guys? It's Rikushi. I haven't done a video in a long time. I don't give a fuck. It's my channel. I do what I want. Anyway, so I just saw this on Twitter where Paimon goes, "Hey travelers, we've received a lot of feedback from travelers regarding issues with the character Zhongli. We'd like to take this opportunity to have a conversation with everyone to share our thinking on Zhongli." Now, I've already read this, but the reaction to this has been kind of stupid, in my opinion. Pretty much what this is about is Zhongli and Genshin came out, and like people were complaining that he doesn't do a lot of damage, but like he's broken in other ways. Not every character has to be a DPS, and I think that people complaining that Zhongli does very little damage is kind of like complaining that Chi does very little damage. It's like she's a support character. I feel like people were willing to accept like Chi not doing a lot of damage because the game launched with Chi like that, so they just kind of accepted it. But Zhongli's new. He's supposed to be exciting and but like, why can't they release support characters in the future? It's bullshit. Anyway, let's get into this. Woo. Dear travelers, we have received a lot of feedback from travelers regarding issues with the character Zhongli. The developers have placed great importance on Zhongli's performance since offline testing began. We have been collating, reviewing, and analyzing everyone's feedback and have had many discussions about it internally. We apologize profusely for the lateness in our response. By the way, I wish this was about resin. Fuck Zhongli. Can I get some news about resin, please? Can I get more resin, please? Which has left a bad impression on everyone. The truth is that since the character was launched, we have been closely following the situation, both in terms of reviewing the feedback on social media and in terms of analyzing the game data on how people are obtaining, building, and using Zhongli. We'd like to take this opportunity to have a conversation with everyone to share our thinking on Zhongli. God damn, my voice is fucked. I don't have COVID, I swear to God. Anyway, when we design something, we hope to ensure that the player experience and the mechanics are as diverse as possible. The same is true about Zhongli's design. The Zhongli is defined as more of a support character, and the core of the support role is the ability to protect other characters in the party. Based on this, we define... Yo, get it out of my face! God damn it, bro. Based on this, we define his two core abilities as shield creation and controlling the enemy. The Jade Shield, generated by holding Dominus Lepidus, fucking names of these abilities, provides effective absorption and cover without relying on other equipment. Planet Befall exerts effective control over groups of enemies relying on elemental reactions or equipment bonuses. From a design standpoint, these two features enable Zhongli to fulfill his role as a support character, and from a review of actual game data, we have discovered that Zhongli is, in fact, effectively improving traveler survival capabilities. This is actually true. There was a really good video that was done by... fucking... I think it's Asian guy Genshin? I'm gonna look this up real quick. There we go. So this video right here is actually really, really good. You should go watch this. Pretty much he goes and he just starts teabagging a Spiral Abyss comp. Like this is Chamber 12, Floor 3, so this is the hardest floor of the Spiral Abyss. And he, like with Zhongli, he's able to just do whack shit, like just walk around nonchalantly and not give a shit about the guys who are here. Like he's like climbing the pillar made by Zhongli's E and shit. He's just like jumping around, not giving a shit. And he really shows off how important it is to have a defensive character like this. Also, this being able to CC on demand heavy characters like this is actually very valuable. Which he also goes into in the video. Like I said, I recommend watching it. Because like the only way to like CC heavy characters is like with freeze, and like you can sometimes stagger them if you're using a claymore, and that's it. But it's very useful to just have a character that you can just switch to, drop an ult, and you CC them for a little bit, keep them still. It's actually very effective. But anyway, back to this. In terms of developing Zhongli and improving his abilities, Zhongli is a character who principally receives HP related benefits, unlike some other characters who are focused on improving damage. Everyone wants every new character to be Diluc. That's what I'm saying. The main way in which HP improves Zhongli's abilities is by helping him to survive. In contrast to high damage dealer, Zhongli's role is to provide secure and stable protection for the party in all manner of combat environments. Whenever we make adjustments to challenge stages, aspects of the open world, systems, and characters themselves, we always start with a comprehensive analysis of character combat statistics, user feedback, and character ethos. I don't know what ethos is supposed to be. Before making a careful and considered plan. Currently, we're engaged in a deep analysis of Zhongli. In future versions, we will continue to analyze, assess, and adjust things so that all the characters you love have their roles to play and moments to shine. We only ask that travelers continue to be patient in the meantime. So, it sounds like from this, that they've got their eye on Zhongli and they might adjust him in the future. I actually don't think he needs too many adjustments. Like, to be fair, like, there are some stats that are, like, really low for no reason. Like, comparing Zhongli's level 6, like, standard attack talent to, like, Zhang Ling's level 2 standard attack talent, he does, like, 44% damage and she does 45, even though she's a 4-star character, and even though her talents is 4 levels lower than Zhongli's, she still has more damage on her standard attack for some fucking reason. So, like, things like that, I don't mind getting buffed because it makes no sense that his standard attack does, like, 0 damage at all. It's like, I understand a character being a support character, but they should still at least be able to do some damage with their auto attack. Like Zhongli's auto attack really is, like, super pathetic. You know, so things like that I don't mind, but overall I think that Zhongli's fine. But it sounds like they might buff him in the future, and they have said they got their eye on them. In addition, we have discovered from player feedback that there is indeed a bug affecting Zhongli at present. After Zhongli's level 2 Constellation Stone, the Crackle of Jade, is activated, casting an elemental burst may not trigger the damage boost of the elemental resonant effect Enduring Rock. The developers are working on a fix, and we estimate that the issue will be fixed on an update on this time. Travelers will also be compensated accordingly. Please be assured that developers will continue to monitor travelers' in-game experience and social media feedback in the same way we have been doing up until now. Your generous support is our biggest motivation as we seek to continually improve Genshin Impact. And then they kind of do what, like, YouTubers do when they need to make an apology video. They have, like, their dog in the beginning of the video, like, and then they let out a big sigh, like, this is gonna be a hard video, Wiley.
I have no idea how I'm gonna record this video, dude.
And they got their dog looking there all cute and shit. That's what they're doing with Paimon right now. They're like, we're so sorry that you guys are pissed, but you're also really fucking stupid. And I agree. But anyway, let's look at the replies to this shit. We're gonna skip mine. I don't care if you're not to be a DPS. I use them for support anyways, but this is actually ridiculous. Yeah, so this is kind of the example here. They compare level 4 to level 1. And for some reason, she has more damage on her auto attack. But, like, to be fair, Zhongli's main role is support. Whereas Zhang Ling, she's not really a support. Like, if you have her level 70 talent, she can be. Just because, like, she can drop her bear, and then when the bear is done, it drops, like, a pepper you can pick up for damage. But besides that, all she does is damage. So it makes sense that she would do more DPS than Zhongli, who has all these other passives and tools and kits and protections, right? So even though, yeah, it's kind of weird seeing a 5-star be so outclassed by a 4-star, even when the talents are leveled up higher, it also does kind of make sense, because her primary role is to do damage. Even if she's not a main DPS, she's usually like a sub-DPS. That's still the point of the character, whereas he is just support all over. So I kind of get where they're coming from, but I still think it's kind of wrong. Anyway, sorry for the random cut. My dad just came in to give me some delicious homemade bread, and I gobbled that shit up. So let's keep going. So in response to this guy, what he was saying here, he said, Ningguang and Mona, look at their charge attack. These numbers without context, you'd think Mona is stronger. Ningguang does more damage per second than Mona in terms of normal attack. Characters are built for fulfill purposes. Maybe normal attack isn't his purpose. And yeah, Mona's charge attack is actually really broken. Like, her normal attacks suck, and then her charge attack is, like, randomly really strong. And her, like, C6 on her charge attack is, like, super fucking OP. But Ningguang does more damage per second because she's actually a DPS character. But he has a great point, being, like, no one complains about, like, Mona or Chi-Chi not doing crazy amounts of damage, not unless you build Mona as, like, a fucking nuke character, which you can. Then my friend Lyric goes, can I have Zhongli? Zhong doesn't need a buff at all. He'll break the game if he does get a buff. Zhongli is amazing as is. Zhongli isn't even bad. People just assume that every 5-star is supposed to be a DPS. That's correct. And on Twitter, people seem to be a lot more level-headed, but on the actual website, they were, like, fucked. Let me scroll down a little bit here and find these fools. In other words, we hear your feedback, but we don't care. He works as intended, which isn't actually what they said at all. Where is he? Here we go. In future versions, we will continue to analyze, assess, and adjust things so that the characters you love have their roles to play and moments to shine. We can only ask that travelers continue to be patient in the meantime. Currently, we are engaged in a deep analysis of Zhongli. So chances are, they might buff him in the future just to appease people. So what this guy is saying is actually completely wrong. Guy or girl, I don't know. We don't discriminate. It's 2020. He is still underperforming as a support unit, like you call it, and it's not worth the time and money you need to get him. He is a 5-star for God's sake and an Archon to boot, so he should be an OP support at least. Well, just because a character, like, just because he was an Archon doesn't mean he has to be OP, right? It's like, also he doesn't have his Gnosis in his character, right? If he had his Gnosis, he'd be dropping spears from the sky the size of mountains, right? So like, come on, cut him a break. I gotta drink some water real quick. Yo, if you're watching, you better drink some water right now before I come over there and beat your ass. Okay, let's keep going. He does not need to be broken, but a shield that breaks after 1-2 ain't much in this game right now. That's actually not true. Crystallized shields can break between 1 and 2 hits for the most part. Get the fuck out of here. They can break for the most part after 1 or 2 hits. But his Jade Shield lasts a long time. Like you saw in that trailer, like he had a whole mob of enemies just hitting him, and he was just standing there with his arm crossed, like, yeah, I'm badass. What you gonna do about it? It's a bluff if you care for your customer experience and you really pay attention to the customer voices in all available platforms, and you should have known by now that you need to improve the resin system. Yeah, that's absolutely true. For as much as people were complaining about Zhongli, I have no doubt in my mind way more people have complained from the beginning of the game to now about the resin system, but they're choosing to ignore that. So, the guy's actually right. As a support, Zhongli is outperformed by 4 stars easily. This is completely untrue, but let's see what this guy has to say. Arch Astra level 2, huh? Okay. Bennett scales with HP, massive healing, increases DPS, can sub DPS better than Zhongli, sets up vape. I don't know what vape. Oh, vaporize comps. I was thinking like actually vaping. Access to melt, better energy regeneration. Well, okay, it's not fair to say that like, oh, but like Bennett sets up vape comps and access to melt. He doesn't have that advantage over Zhongli because he's a better character. He just has that access to that stuff just because he's a fire character, right? I could easily say, oh, but Zhongli has access to crystallized shields, right? It's like I get like, yeah, it's true, but that's only by virtue of their element. Like you're trying to compare them only as characters. You want to get the element out of the equation if you're talking about what they actually bring to the table. Can sub DPS better than Zhongli? I mean, I guess. Scales with HP. I mean, ironically, so does what's it called? So does Zhongli. Massive healing. He has massive shields. Increases DPS. He increases survivability. Right. So it's like I could go through all of these points he's making and talk about something unique that Zhongli does, right? Now, the reason this person's listing Bennett as an example is because since Bennett has more DPS support, he views him necessarily as being better. But, like, how many people complaining about Zhongli right now are, like, running, get out of here? Like, how many people right now writing these messages and complaining about Zhongli go to Spiral Abyss, like, floor 11 and 12, and then get wiped by ice prisons and then complain like, oh my god, this shit is bullshit, fuck the Spiral Abyss, when they could just be running Zhongli and getting hundreds and thousands of shields. You know what I mean? Like, come on. So for everything unique that Bennett does here, first of all, scales with HP, so does Zhongli. Massive healing, he has massive shields. Increases DPS, well, he has increases survivability and resistance to knockback. Can sub DPS better than Zhongli? I mean, that's true, but Zhongli has more CC. Right? He can petrify more than Bennett, right? He can CC enemies. Like, being able to CC heavy is huge. Sets up vape comps, sets up crystallized shields for Zhongli, I guess. Access to melt, well, like I said, same thing. Access to crystallize, better energy regeneration. I don't even know if that's necessarily true. And isn't Zhongli's ult, like, only 40 energy? Like, Zhongli doesn't really need that much energy recharge. He has a very low cost ultimate. Like he'll almost always have it up. So, like a lot of the things that you say make Bennett good, I can point to something that Zhongli does well. You know what I mean? Like it's dumb. Diona, skills with HP, huge AoE cryo apply with buffs to team and debuffs to enemies, healing, sets up, melt comps, access to reactions. Again, the whole bro, this guy just doesn't like the Geo element. Like dead ass, I feel like if instead of Zhongli being Geo, he was like a Menno, or he was like a Pyro character, he could be the exact same the exact same design, the exact same character, the exact same kit, the exact same scaling on all of his shit. But if he were like a Pyro character or like a Hydro character, this guy wouldn't be complaining because like he's like, oh, access to reactions. It's like, look, Geo is not meant to be an offensive powerhouse. Like you can, like you have characters like Ningguang who are DPS focused characters, but inherently it's a defensive elemental reaction. So holding it against Geo characters that they're not good because they don't have access to elemental reactions, but they're not even built for that in the first place. It's kind of dumb. Anyway, Sucrose Venti better damage. I actually don't know about this. Venti's damage is like Ventos and Sucrose damage are kind of low. Well, not super low. Like Venti can do a lot of damage. Swirl elements, longer CC. That's true. I would say that Venti as a support is better than Zhongli, but it's like Venti is trash against big mobs. Not to mention like he has better lockdown, like he has better CC than Zhongli, but his utility is not anywhere near Zhongli because Zhongli with the pillar, with the shields, like with Petrify, like he has so much more CC. And, well, not CC, sorry. He has so much more utility going on that it's like Venti can just get shit on by Fatuis because like he can't CC them, he can't do damage to them at all. Like Venti doesn't do anything to them, whereas Zhongli actually can deal with heavy characters. Like that's a big deal. Many people use Zhongli because we like him, but we want to feel good doing so. He is underperforming as a character, not even considering that he is a 5-star. There is no content in the game for what he brings, which is untrue. Please don't release a character design for unreleased content because there's no guarantee that it will actualize. Please don't design a $180 worth character that requires constellations and future 5-stars just to be average. Yeah, so I just disagree with all this shit. Anyway, I'm like running out of energy reading all this shit. Personally, like my thoughts in summary is that Zhongli is fine. I think that the whole thing with I think this thing, while I could rationalize a good reason for like why Zhangling has so much more like normal attack damage than Zhongli, it is a little bit weird that his attack is that low. Like you're not like if he's a support character anyway, it's not gonna hurt to increase his normal attack damage a little bit because like for as good as like for how much higher Zhangling's normal attack damage is than Zhongli's, it doesn't even matter because people don't even use Zhangling like that. People just like switch to her so she can drop her abilities and they switch off. They don't even give a shit about her attack. So I know for Zhongli it's kind of the same thing, but like if that's the case, would it hurt to give him a little more like normal attack damage? Like what would that really do? It would let people play Zhongling a little bit more, right? If like you know what I mean? Like, but besides that, I mean, I think Zhongli's fine. Like he has crazy amounts of CC, and you should go watch that video that I posted earlier with the Agent Guy Genshin. That video was amazing. Also, the reason I'm making this video is because in patch 1.2, which is coming out after Zhongli's banner is over, the next two characters coming out are Ganyu and Albedo. Now, if it's Ganyu, I'm skipping, but if it's Albedo, I'm gonna be pulling on that guy. So I just wanted to announce that I'm pulling on Albedo. I'm gonna be going for Constellation 2. So that should be a lot of fun. And I'll see you there. Let me know what you think about Zhongli in the comments below. And yeah, fuck the haters.